Welcome back to the stages of portfolio development. In this video, we return to the 4 stages of portfolio creation: collect, select, reflect, and connect. This time, we focus on the processes of selection involved in identifying and displaying some of the artifacts that you have collected. It is important to remember that your portfolio isn't a static filing cabinet of artifacts with great materials tucked away, but never revisited. Your portfolio is a living reflection of who you are and who you aspire to be. At different stages in your career, you will shape and reshape the selection and presentation of artifacts to reflect your current needs. As an emerging educator, you might like to tell the story of the kind of teacher you aspire to be. As a new graduate, you might like to showcase the skills and abilities you have when applying for a job. As an experienced educator, you might be seeking promotion and need to demonstrate a longevity of practice and impact. At each of these stages, you will want to reflect on what you have achieved and what you have yet to learn. How you select and present artifacts within your portfolio allows you to do all this and more, with the process of curation and presentation part of your reflective growth. Throughout your program, you will have covered a number of reflective models that can be used to guide the selection process, remembering that once you select an artifact for inclusion, you also need to present it with annotation, which will likewise derive from this reflection. One reflective technique is the STAR technique, which gives you a straightforward format you can use to select an artifact by allowing it to tell a story by laying out the situation, task, action, result, and reflection. Let's revise it now. In this instance, the artifact I have selected is a Year 7 Maths unit plan. As an artifact on its own, it doesn't have a lot of meaning, but when I select and present it through the STAR framework, it demonstrates my role and skill as an educator. S stands for situation. Here you set the scene and give the necessary details of an example you can use to demonstrate a specific skill or how you are meeting a specific standard. As an example, the situation might be a professional experience placement where you taught Year 7 Maths at an independent coeducational secondary school in Brisbane. Providing some detail about the broader social context and makeup of the class is also helpful. So in this situation, the class may be culturally homogeneous, however there may be several students struggling with numeracy. T is for task. Here you need to describe what your responsibility was in that situation and what you needed to achieve. For example, using the same situation, your task may have been to plan a maths unit on Best Buy's sequencing lessons across 4 weeks that included opportunities specifically targeted to the students struggling with numeracy. A is for action. In this step, you need to explain exactly what you did to complete the task. So, what action did you undertake? A good way to show that you have sound reasons for the approach you took is to refer to the literature and research to support what you did. Using our same narrative, you might have decided to use concrete manipulatives, such as shopping items, that students could see and touch as the hook at the beginning of the lesson, because research by Marilyn Goose shows that using physical objects and an authentic task is an effective way to engage students and build numeracy skills. R is for result. In this step, you should share what outcomes your actions achieved. This could be student learning outcomes, grades data, or specific student outputs, or it could even be how engaged and attentive students were. Importantly, you should be looking to provide proof of these outcomes, being careful not to overstate your claims. Here's where the evidence you provide in the form of artifacts is important. As an example, you might write that students enjoyed the practicality of the unit and engagement and enjoyment was high as indicated in a class feedback survey that you attach, while the test scores, also attached, showed that 95% of the class had understood the concept of Best Buy. Sometimes your results may not be good, and that's one reason it's important to reflect, the final R, upon the outcomes of your activity and evaluate what went well, what didn't work, what was learned, and what you'd do differently, or what you as a teacher still need to learn yourself. For example, you might reflect that one of the students who didn't demonstrate an understanding of the concept in the test was recently diagnosed with ADHD, and you do not know what the implications of this may be. So you need to learn more about supporting this student. By using these 5 components to shape the presentation of your selected artifact, it's much easier to provide a focused and digestible, but compelling narrative or story that demonstrates your skills and capacities. Some key principles for selecting and presenting artifacts employing the STAR technique. Keep focused, include only relevant details, but provide enough specific and deep detail so that your actions are clearly explained. Justify your approach. Use evidence from the literature to show how you have pedagogically informed practice and to support the decisions you have made. Provide evidence of impact. For every claim you make, you should provide tangible proof, e.g., student results, feedback provided. You can draw upon a variety of artifacts that you might have collected over the course of your teacher preparation program to help provide this proof. But never let the artifact speak for itself. Always make sure you explain how the artifacts you have selected explicitly demonstrate the particular skill or standard you are addressing. Keep your narrative cohesive. Remember, you are telling a story about a specific example, so your narrative should follow a logical story arc. I hope you find the STAR technique a useful way to curate a story using artifacts and evidence you have gathered from your experience about how you meet the Australian professional standards for teachers. Having covered collect and select, we are at the end of the second step in portfolio creation. In the next video, you will find out more about the third stage, reflect.